Hi, this is Peter Baltes, bass player from the heavy metal giant Accept, and you're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. Coming to you today on location from the 2016 Summer NAMM show, Nashville, Tennessee, with our old friend Peter Baltes. What's happening, Peter?
Oh, well, I got up real early this morning. I live right maybe 10 minutes from here, and got in my car and came over here to see what's going on. Obviously, there's a lot of Secret Service here. You know, there's a lot of celebrities, so I don't know who we're going to see today.
A lot of cool people.
A lot of cool people.
And you are one of those cool people. Oh my goodness. You know, it's only been a year since the last interview that we did, but I know you've got a couple of news items to talk about. You have a new bass, you have a new album in the works, and so bring us up to date. What's been happening?
Well, the new bass is the third one that Warwick built for me, and I like this one the most because I wanted something built that's a little bit more like Schwarzenegger Terminator style, to change the body type a little bit. So I lost the horn on the bottom.
What model bass is it?
It's a Streamer again.
Warwick Streamer. Okay.
But Warwick Streamer, correct. But the little horn on the bottom is gone. And instead, it has a spark plug, which actually is from Peter's son's motorcycle. Took it off and put it in. So it has a spark plug on the bottom. It has no knobs, it has an on and off switch, but it is covered by a fire switch. It says fire, a switch. You have to lift it up and it says fire, and you push it down. That's how the bass turns on and off. And then they sandblasted an incredible design in there. I mean, really incredible. It looks like Mad Max meets the Terminator. Plays very well, you know, so it's the third one they did. And I believe we're done now with that trilogy of basses. We're starting to like get another design, but really cool. Great innovative design. I mean, to come up with these things, it's just amazing. Anybody can paint a bass or make something, you know, but they are able really to come up with things that are unique. You know, as a player, you request something and they get as close as they can, if it's not out of this world. But on top of that, it actually sounds good and plays well.
I was going to ask you that too. It looks great, but how does it sound?
No, well, of course it does, you know, but again, my belief has always been that every bass player, you know, 50-60% of your sound is in your fingers, 40% is your instrument, that's 20 is your instrument, and 20 is your whatever you're playing through your amp. So I'm just, honestly, I'm thrilled. I mean, you know, you remember I'm a Fender guy all my life, and it was hard for me to switch, but now I'm sold. It's 3 years now, 3 basses down the road, and I love it. I really do love it.
3 basses in 3 years?
Yep, that's it. 1 a year.
So
the more basses I have.
We'll have to talk next year, see what's up, huh?
Yeah, we should talk next year.
Okay. I didn't mention, everybody knows, but you are the bass player in the band Accept. Balls to the wall, of course. Tell us what's happening now. You mentioned you're in the studio now, aren't you?
We're in the studio right now. We finished the world tour April 15th in Chile, South America. We played Rio de Janeiro. We actually stayed right there in the Olympic Village next door in a hotel. We saw all of that and finished that. Now we have to make a new album, which we have to get finished before Christmas, I would say. So
any particular Christmas, or you mean the Christmas coming up?
The next Christmas, just the one right before I get my next bass, that one.
Christmas 2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then we're going to embark on a extensive European tour, but 59, 60 dates. And then we're going to do some other stuff, and then the new album will come out. I don't know exactly, what I would assume between May and August. And then in September the world tour starts, and it will take us once around the globe. So we'll start in September and end up, I guess, in December 2018. So won't be here next year.
Well, you'll be somewhere.
We can do a Skype thing,
I was just going to say that. We could do
a Skype thing.
Wow.
From Singapore or from somewhere.
There you go. Well, what about after that? Can you see beyond 2018 right now? Do you know what the plans are, either for the band or for you or for anything else?
Well, I can tell you this: physically, we really feel great. I mean, we're in good shape. We love what we're doing. We had a long break. It was a 12-year break. So since 2009, we put out 3 albums. Our career has skyrocketed, in our opinion. You know how we feel about. We love playing. There's nothing else better in this life for us to do. We're really good at writing these songs, so there's nothing keeping us from keep doing it as long as we can run around and do our show. If that ever be compromised, that we just have to stand, that might be a different story. But we just love it, and touring is great. We always, we try to get better in what we do, in the songwriting, in the craft. It gets harder because a lot of things have been done, and you have to try not to copy yourself what you did on the previous albums or 20 years ago. On the other hand, you don't want to be too progressive and go off into a deep end where everybody says now they lost their marbles. So, you're walking some sort of a tightrope. Everybody wants that Accept sound. Give us something and make it fresh or new, but don't you dare make it like weird. Okay. So that's what we're doing, and it requires like some sort of a deeper visit into yourself as a songwriter. I'm still same thing. Wolf and I writing all the songs, so we're in there for 40 years now. We're writing these songs, but for some reason, I don't know how or why, we always come up with something. I mean, it's we're living in a world right now. There's so much going on, things that make us wonder. All my life, as long as I remember, I'm hearing about the Palestinian-Israel conflict. That never goes away. All of a sudden they shake hand in Camp David, and then a week later it starts again. And there were so many world wars, and you would think somebody comes to its senses and, well, we live without this stuff. Well, we don't. It just seems it's always there. Stuff is always there, and it gives us some sort of ammunition to write a new album. And it's always the same. You got to dig deep, but if you look around, and we travel a lot, we see things that we pick up, little things like, how come these people over here, they're very poor, but they're all happy? How come these people over in this country, they're so rich and they're all unhappy? How does that work? So these political, social things, they influence a lot, and we try to incorporate them somehow in our music, because our music is heavy, our music is deep. We're never a rock and roll band. We were a metal band, and so as long as there's turmoil in this world, we can write songs.
We all see the news, so we're all presented with everything that's going on in the world, the good and the bad. But having done the amount of traveling that you've done, you must have a deeper perspective on people and cultures and things like that. It's fascinating, inspiration for the songwriting that you're talking about, and hopefully it will do some good in the world.
I'm telling you one thing real quick. People are generally all the same. All over this globe, people are the same. They have the same, they're inspired to do the same things. Some are making a nice little living. They have kids. They want their kids to have a better life than they do. And that's the same in every country and every continent. It's just these damn politicians, these greedy politicians and whatever else, they're involved in. They run the things, and, it's the same everywhere. You know what I mean? So people are good. You always got to look for the good in people, and you got to keep your eyes and your ears open for the other stuff.
How about getting back to the music and the bass? Is there anything? You mentioned songwriting and the touring, and you've been doing it for so long, and you're really into it, and the challenges and all of that. But beyond that, is there anything that you, Peter Baltes, would like to do that you haven't already done? Because you've already done a lot.
I've done a lot. I'm always trying to get better, though. I write a lot of stuff for television and radio, which is totally different genres, from funk to disco. It doesn't matter. It allows me to explore myself. I'm not a slap bass player. Most of you guys are. I have the thickest pick on the planet. Actually, I'm going to show you my pick. It has the Punisher on it, but it's really thick. So I'm a pick player, and then I get challenge myself in my studio to play something with my fingers now. And for me, after 40 years, that's like a joke. So I'm learning. How is this done? Slapping I won't make. I'll be dead by then. But exploring these other avenues that I never had a chance to go down, and I love it. I really do. And then I go back and maybe sometimes I write something. It's like, oh, it sounds like so and so, and then it inspires me to go listen to Al Green. I take an old album out and listen to that and realize, oh my goodness, or Rush. Wow, cool stuff there. So I start actually learning Rush stuff, and just for me. There's no gain in it except for me to, just get better. I still want to get better. I mean, you never want to stop.
Last question, Peter.
By the way, before you do that, last question. I saw you fiddling around with Billy Sheehan in you remember?
You saw me fooling around with Billy Sheehan.
You remember? And I saw you learning something from him, and I was filming it from the back, and I took it home, and I tried the same thing. Can't do it. Cannot do it. And I realized, the tapping stuff, I realized how difficult all that is, what a talent he is. He's a great human being, but what an incredible player, what he created in his lifetime, and what he, I saw you going like, how do you do this, and how do you do that? That's what it's all about. That's why people buy instruments in the first place. That's why companies like Warwick exist. That's why you and me exist. The joy of exploring this and finally mastering something. I can do it now. And that gets you to the next spot.
Yeah.
Now to the last question.
It's funny what Billy said, though. He said, I can show you the way I do it, but I want you to figure it out and do what works for you.
Right.
So I did learn a lot from that session, and I think I am going to post some of that on one of my other websites, on johnliebman.com. But that was a great session, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was just watching that not too long ago and working on it and trying to get it. Okay, now the last question. Do you have any advice for the folks that want to get into music, want to get into playing the bass, playing guitar, making a career out of it, because it's not the same as it was when you were first coming up 40 years ago or whenever it was?
My best advice would be, I don't think anybody gets into it anymore as a career. That's not considered a career anymore. That would be a high risk. That would be like a suicide mission to go in and say, I want to do it as a career. I think you should go in first and explore what you really like. What instrument you like, if you like guitar, if you like bass, and then you got to go and take your favorite albums that you have and learn them all, and find what avenue you want to take. What kind of music you like? You're a metal guy, you're a jazz guy, you're a funk guy. What are you? You're an indie guy. What kind of music you like?
Guy or girl?
Yeah, or girl. Yeah, you're right. And try to get really good at it. So once you get good, you become competitive. That means you can play with other players that are really good. And by doing that, you can form a band, that eventually has a shot where people like raise an eyebrow and say, hey, they sound really good, because they practice a lot and they connect with each other. This human connection when you play with somebody else is priceless. It's absolutely priceless because you feed off each other. You learn from the other person, like Wolf and I, for 40 years. I see him play guitar, and I learn stuff, and I incorporate in my bass, and he does the same thing. And then he hates it when I play solos, when I go with him something. That's my solo, don't go with me. Point being is you start a relationship that goes a little bit deeper. It goes past your instrument and to another level. And that's where you want to be when you start a band. You want to have guys that all understand, we love doing this. And then try to create something that's unique. That's very difficult. A lot of stuff has been done before. So how do you create something unique? Well, maybe you put unique people together. You take a jazz drummer and put a metal guitar player and take this and take a girl to sing and a saxophone player and create a totally new sound that nobody ever heard. Then you got a shot. Then you have a shot that somebody says, wow, these guys, wow. And then you put your stuff on YouTube, and it takes from there. And then if it ever gets to the point that you're doing shows and there's a little bit of money coming in, so you're buying your first T-shirts and so forth, then you think about a career. That'll be a good choice right then.
Always such a wealth of information and inspiration.
Thank you.
Great talking with you, Peter. Thanks very much. Good luck with the new record, the tour, and the other tour, and the other tour, and the new bass. And Whatever comes up after that.
Next time we Skype, all right?
Okay, always a pleasure getting together. From the 2016 Summer Dam Show, Nashville, Tennessee, with our good friend Peter Baltes. I'm John Liebman. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Don't forget, there's 2 in it.